get started, we just like to introduce ourselves first. My name is Frimsel Ayalin. I'm a University Partnerships Manager based in Manila, Philippines. I'll be supporting Philippines and Australian market. And with me is my colleague.
I'm Ali Rathore. I'm also a University Partnership Manager here from Islamabad,
Mhm.
Pakistan, and I focus on the Asia market.
Right, great. So thank you, Ali. And we're seeing great turnout today in our event. So again, thank you for joining us. And we want to get to know the people in this event. So later on, we will have an icebreaker for everyone. But to share how this webinar would be like, we will welcome everyone, do an icebreaker. We'll also share some of our key learnings from this year's fair or career fair events. We'll also talk about how we can widen the access of our students to career opportunities and share with you the upcoming virtual career fair. Later on, we will have a Q&A portion. So we have a Q&A section in our webinar. So please feel free to type your questions in there and we'll be more than happy to address and answer those questions. And as mentioned earlier, we would want to know or we want to get to know you. So in the chat box, please type in your location or where are you joining from. For example, I'm from Philippines and Ali's from Pakistan. So feel free to type your responses in there. Cool. And while we're doing that, we will also be opening a poll. So please select the location where you are working from. So the selections we have there would be from the home, office, a co-working space, beach, cafe, or not telling at the moment. So we're seeing some responses already. It looks like home and office are the two locations that has the highest score, Ali.
Yeah, I mean, currently still in 2021, I think a lot of people are working from home. I myself
Mm-hmm.
am from home. It's a personal preference. Whenever I
Right.
feel like I'm a bit exhausted, I just go to my wife, get a cuddle, quick minute cuddle, and I'm all sorted for
Mm-hmm.
the rest of the day. So I'm
That's good
really
to
positive
hear.
about it.
Right, that's super nice. And also in the chat box, just want to give a shout out from our partners from Perth. We also have Sydney, Australia. They're working from Manila, from Cebu, Philippines. I've seen Unitech Auckland. I'm seeing Malaysia as well. See, this event is really at a larger scale. This is a global event that we're having right now. And thank you for being part of it. Based on our poll, um, about about 40% or sorry 65% of our attendees are working from home, which is a good thing. We also have a couple who's still on site and someone to get envious about. Someone is working at the beach, so that's really nice to hear, right? So thank you for participating in that poll. And we also have another question.
Right. So um, as the title of this webinar might suggest, we are focused towards virtual career events. And one thing that comes to mind is the challenges that universities, colleges face. So this poll that we're going to put in place, please tell us the challenges as career centers, as placement teams. What kind of challenge do you face for virtual career events?
Right. So we're seeing a good number of responses. And well, it's a battle between engaging and inviting students to attend the event and challenges with platform that they use for the event. So keep on answering the poll and we'll share the results in a couple of seconds. All right, cool.
Awesome.
So,
So
right.
it looks like engaging and inviting students is at its highest at 72%. 38% say they have challenges with platform that they use for the event. 17% say inviting employers is a bit of a pain. And the rest are saying no resource to create marketing materials. And there are some others as well. Really makes me think what those others are. While it's at only 7%, but I do think what challenges have we not thought of? But great to know that students' engagement is everyone's top priority.
Mm-hmm. And Ali, just to share, low turn-up rate for physical events are is something that Mary has shared as well. So that could be some of the others. If feel free to add any challenges that you're seeing. So Prospol can also help you out with that.
So one more before we get into the detail. So working with these different regions, we've learned that in each country and such, our universities will use different sort of platforms to engage with students. For example, we've seen a huge use of WhatsApp and such in India. Emails are more common in Malaysia and such. So please tell us what is more common with your university. Do you use job boards? Do you use WhatsApp? Is it emails? Maybe something else? Let us know all about it.
Right, looking at the responses I'm seeing, university job board is the most common, but not far ahead is the official university Facebook page. So we'll just wait for a couple more responses before we end the poll and share with you the results.
Awesome. So it looks like university job board and university Facebook pages are almost at a tie, which is interesting. That's about almost 70%, but we also see WhatsApp is barely the case. My information might be a bit wrong, but let's see. Generic job boards and emails are also at 9% and 15%. So more or less, it looks like every region, every university has their own practice that works out for them. But we'll talk more about why this matters. So everyone, to those who are aware of Prospol, to those and most of us who are not, let me tell you a bit about what Prospol is. So in a minor detail, we're basically a student-focused business. What we did is we built a platform focusing on ensuring that students can find job opportunities, which is just intended for graduates or internships. We started off like back in 2015, but we currently have like on an annual basis, we engage with about 2 million students. So been there, done that for a long time. Next slide, please. So let me tell you how we really started. In 2015, we launched in Australia. Back then it was known as Grad Australia. It was started off by our pioneers, who are Jeff and Jeff, one with a G, one with a J. And their focus back then was like printed books, which they were handing out and engaging students in that way. And those printed books, it was basically like a top 100 graduate employers. Again, the focus was always to help students get informed decisions, get more details, get more understanding of these employers and what they can get out of them. We had tons of success from it. And then in 2019, we expanded even further into New Zealand and in Philippines. Same practice where, of course, our platform was there, but we were a lot more engaged in heading to universities and handing out these printed material of ours. Of course, with COVID, things took a different change. And for us as well, we went into digital transformation from last year. With this digital transformation, we expanded our platform to further regions, especially the APAC region. And right now we're working with India, with Malaysia, with Singapore, Indonesia, and we are using our very successful platform that is totally and utterly focused on just students' job opportunities and bringing it on board. So we already heavily partnered with a lot of universities, and part of this session is to find even more great partnership that we can continue with. So one thing I would like to add into is why Prospol. There's already something in place. It's been in place for so long, and universities everywhere else somewhat uses tools as well. What is our ecosystem around it? So yes, there is communication that does happen between employers, between universities, and between students and graduates. But what we've seen is, because of the primary objectives of all three, there is more in information that is not readily accessible. So while universities do connect with employers and through job fairs and such, students are made aware before they even graduate of these opportunities, there is tons more a student would want to learn. Let me give you one good example. A student or graduate are probably trying to land their first job. They're sort of in a romantic period that most of us can relate, having that first job, buying that first car, maybe buying a new house. Um, you're very excited about it. You have a lot of expectations about it. You probably want to plan out things better. And which is why our ecosystem ensures that through all these, we get the right details from all three engagers so that each one of them gets optimal detail. So what I would like to share is we've done tons of webinars in Australia, New Zealand, Philippines this year, and I want to share what our key learnings were. So among all our super fairs that we've had in 2021, which was in different industries like business, marketing, technology, health service, which was sort of a new thing for us this year. We've learned a lot from them. They've been very successful. I can show you next slide. We had over 15,000 engagement with students. Over 17,500 students registered with us, in which we, throughout the year, we had a total of 500 employers as exhibitors. And out of that, we had 10,000 plus engagement students as well. So all in all, plenty of resourcing and trafficking that we ensure for our employers, that we ensure for our students and universities, that there's tons of things happening from here. But what I want to share with you is what did we learn from it? So one thing, feedback that we got from our employers is they definitely prefer synchronized super fairs. Again, hopefully COVID will come to an end with everyone getting vaccinated and things will take for a better turn. But we are moving into a new normal. We've learned that there are better ways to engage, which are quicker, faster, has quality to it. So employers have shared with us that they want to continue with synchronized super fairs, where they can have multiple universities and students from different representations around at the same time. Another thing we learned was panel sessions have become extremely popular. So instead of students jumping from one booth to another, they enjoyed a lot when they see a panel session with employers from different representations from different corporations discussing a similar topic. One thing that didn't really work out for us, or we felt engagement in other sessions were better, is individual employer booths. They were sort of a hit and miss. Part of the reason was that we felt a lot of the employers that have larger names, that have a much stronger branding, took all the traffic. They took all the students' engagement, and smaller ones were a tiny bit left behind. And what we've learned from it is, with our future booths, we'll ensure a more specific number that targets everyone. So definitely, online events, they increase accessibility. Students feel, employers feel that through online events in their space that they're from, whether from home, whether from office, wherever they are, online events allows them to attend more freely than otherwise. So they're here to stay even post COVID-19. And lastly, we learned that there is better communication and marketing strategy we can have at universities to gaining more traction. So just like in our earlier poll, where 70% chose that communication, getting students to engage is a bigger trouble, we've learned that we can provide even better communication, more tools, templates and such to our university partners to get involved in it. So all in all, an amazing year and much to look forward to next year as well. But I'll give it off to Fremsel now to talk about our platform.
Thank you, Ali, for sharing those key learnings for this year's events that you've had. Just want to share with you again, right now, probably you already have a better idea of what Prospol is and what we do here and why we do what we do. I would like to reiterate what Ali has mentioned earlier. Our focus is students, right? So we want to give them a better access to career opportunities. And for us to do that, we would like to actually highlight our virtual career events. And there are 4 things here that we want to make sure that we cover. Looking at the screen, we have the content, branding, access, and engagement. These are the things that we want to highlight so we can provide you with a big impact career and employability initiative that would require little to no effort from your end. We can provide you with local and international content that would include advices, tips on how our students can get the best start from their career. We also work on creating career directory specific to your own university branding with your logos, URL, and colors, an easily available access for students from your universities, and of course, promotional materials. Now, we want us to take a step back because some of you might ask, why do we do career directories for universities? For our existing partners, you might have heard this multiple times, and thank you again for being here and having that refresher. Again, we want to highlight we're student focused because let's admit it, some students, or more often than not, students don't really know where to start when it comes to their career search. And we understand in Prospol, we understand that careers teams might be underfunded or under-resourced. And these are some of the feedback we gathered with some of our university partners. Hence, there's a need for a clever technology to help university careers teams so that at scale, we can reach out to those hard to get students to help them find the right career. And in terms of the employers, we've understood that we need to work with employers so that we can have that relationship and engage students and ultimately hire the best graduate for their jobs. Now, we are tightly aligned to help employers attract and find the right students for their business. And for the past 24 months, the feedback that we've gathered is that our product serves is very useful since we provide universities with their own website for their students. And in line with that, we would like to share with you some of the university partner sites that we have partnered with. One good example here is the Monash University. For context, this is located in Australia. We have their logo, as mentioned, branding. We have content that we can share with their students, available employers, and even essential advices so they can start off with their careers. Now, what I want to show with everyone is, say, for example, I'm a graduate student looking for a graduate job, and my field is engineering and mathematics. If I hit search, I would be routed to a ton of job opportunities. Let's say I took up electrical and electronics engineering, and you can see the available jobs in here with the job that would close the soonest, so we can have that urgency with our students. If they want to apply on this job, when they click on apply now, they would be routed to the partner sites or employer sites. What I want to highlight in here is, say for example, Amazon. We've been partnering with Amazon, and they're looking for a business developer graduate in public sector in Wellington. And as you can see, I selected electronics and engineering and mathematics. But even if they're not in engineering and mathematics, they would have this job opportunity will be available for them as well. Highlighting that also in the UTS, University of Technology Sydney Careers Directory, I would look for the same graduate job under engineering and mathematics. And if I hit search, I'm looking for an electrical and electronics engineering course, probably. Looking at that, I have a vast options of job. And looking at Amazon, it's also in here. And despite the fact that this is an Australian university, an opportunity for a New Zealand, because Wellington is in New Zealand for context for those who are the other participants, they can take advantage of this opportunity, right? So it tells us that Prospol powers or partners with universities and the job opportunities would be for global audience. The employer jobs and contents that we have here are being distributed to any sites with your own branding that's relevant to the students in which it's intended for. Some good examples that we also have in here would be the UNSW or the University of Melbourne. And apart from that, we have at least, well, almost 180 plus universities that sit actually in our Prospol network. So just sharing with you our Prospol network and the available universities that we have partnered with. Later on, I will show this to you, but some examples in here would be the University of Santo Tomas in the Philippines. We also have Holy Trinity University, which is also in the Philippines, along with Jain University in India, UMP or University Malaysia Pahang in Malaysia, as well as Unipad, which is in Indonesia. So all of these partner sites are in our network, and you can filter it per region. So you can see who are the other partners that we have. This tells us the scale and efficiency of a world-class technology product for our university so that we can engage students to help them find a job. And this is available in the vastness of our network. So we'll share the link for our partner networks for those who are interested to check on them. Now, those are just examples of university career directories, and there are more available in our networks. And especially the existing partners can attest to that, right? So we've shared earlier based on what Ali has given us earlier. We have had virtual career fairs, and that's about 500 exhibitors who joined us in that. And notice that since COVID-19 kicked off, we've held over 100 of virtual events here at Prospol, and we have seen a great success, especially in Australia and New Zealand and here in the Philippines. Now, taking a step back again and explaining why do we do virtual events, we want to highlight our Prospol ecosystem where we connect students, universities, and employers. As we know, students will be looking for potential employers they can get into after they graduate. Universities are looking for employers that they can connect to their students, and employers as well is ultimately trying to connect the universities and students. That's why we have realized there's a need for virtual events. And so with underfunded and under resource careers team, this is the way to go, right? So we want to make sure that we help you with the virtual events and the challenges that you have raised earlier during our poll. I've mentioned that this has been a success in Australia and New Zealand. And of course, you want to showcase some of the events that we've had. We have partnered with University of Sydney. We did a business and consulting super fair with them back in. And notice here that you will see this is the landing page. At the site above, you will see that it's University of Sydney for Business. It sits in the Prospol network, but this is available in their own career directory. And there would be instructions and what the career, the virtual event is all about. There's also that focus sessions available. Now, this is a session that has happened back in February. And so what you will see here would be recording. But for our succeeding career events, something that we would share later on, you'll see join live session in here. And we can focus on some of the exhibitors or panelists along with the companies who are looking for potential hires. And so the partner employers will be available also in your landing page for the virtual career event. So here is a good example of that. And we will share more later on. Now, what we want to share with you at this point would be, of course, something that we're all been waiting for, the upcoming virtual career fair. And we want to address those challenges. And so Prospol, in partnership with startup companies, would be having our virtual career fair in December 10. That's a Friday. And it's simultaneous in all regions. So It's a global event and also a regional event. So each session will be facilitated by a Prospol representative, and we will have panel of representatives from different startup answering questions from students. So all the students have to do is just sign, register, and join the sessions, and we have panelists who can answer their question. And what's really good with this event is that it's completely free for employers, students, and universities. Sharing with you how it works, we will set up a virtual career fair landing page in your career directory. Students then can register to the session they want to attend. And once it's available or open, they can tune into the stream and listen to the talks and ask questions live. After which, each stream, they would have an access for a video recording as well as an e-certificate available in their landing page. Now, sharing with you earlier that we will have a global session. The session is a concurrent session, and it's for about 40 minutes with a panelist and certain employers, and also a time for students to ask questions live. And for regional sessions specific to a country or a region, we will also have a country-specific session in which we also invited local companies or employers, and so they can ask questions and throw in and get an idea of how it is like working with these different employers. Again, reminding everyone that this fair would be on December 10. And all you have to do is sign up as a career university partner with us. We can get started. As a university partner, we can create your own branded career directory similar to what we have shown earlier. Apart from that, we'll give your students access for fresh jobs and internships and a promotional pack. It has been highlighted earlier that there's a need for social media templates, email templates, some publicity materials that you can share with your students. Prospol can definitely help you with that. So if you're interested, please sign up. Our registration will close on November 17 in preparation for the upcoming Startup Virtual Career event. We want your sites to be available and up and running before the actual event, right? So for you to get there, just register as a co-host and get your career directory ready. You can simply do that by scanning the QR code that you're seeing on the screen, or go to the website in there, and one of our university partnerships managers will reach out to you and share with you how you can get your career directory running. And for context, we have actually prepared, or so we would like to share how the site would look like. So here's how the Startup Virtual Career Fair would look like in the Prospol website, right? So you'll see that it is on December 10th, depending on which region you're from, because it's concurrent, so that we can get the global audience. That's 4 p.m. Australian time. That's 6 p.m. in New Zealand. That's 1 p.m. in Philippines, Malaysia, and Singapore. 12 p.m. in Indonesia, and 10:30 a.m. in India. So feel free to join us. As you can see, we have your students would have an introduction of how the virtual career fair would look like. There's global startup career session, as I've mentioned earlier, and we have a dedicated team who looks after employers who would join this career session. So we have scheduled one for fintech. Students who registered can join live sessions. You'll see there that there's participating employers. And what's good here is that they can, from the landing page, they can actually apply directly while joining that session. So those are some of the participating employers, and here's another session they can choose from. Now, specific to your region, as I've mentioned earlier, say I'm interested to work with a startup company in the Philippines. Then you can join the live session specific to the Philippines. We have the participating employers in there. On December 10, we can see if they're looking for available graduates or interested graduates, similar to India and Indonesia. So we want to make sure that we cater to different regions, not just a global event. So if you have questions, feel free to chat it in the chat box or the Q&A, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. We have prepared a samples here looking at one of our oldest partners in the Philippines, the St. Louis University. Thank you for joining and for registering in this event, St. SLU. Here's a sample of their careers directory. And as you can see, it has the same feels of the different career directory we've created in the past. Now we have the startup virtual career fairs event in here. And if the student just click on that, they will be routed to a page where their big break starts here, right? So they can continue to register and provide their information, and they'll receive an email for the webinar session. They can also go to as you can see, this startup virtual career fair event that lands or that's also in the Prospel website is also available in the SLU website or your own career directory. So we can set up that in that way. And our students can join live session from your own career directory. Now, what does it mean for you? With that option, we can provide you with a data or set of reports that would include how many students joined the session, which booth was the most attended, how long did they stay in each session and such, which would give our careers team an overview of what are the topics our students are interested to join, as well as the employers whom they joined and probably applied for. So we have that available in our system, in our technology. And so we want to make sure that we share that with everyone in the team. So again, looking back, if you are interested to co-host this event, this startup virtual event, please scan the QR code, and one of us will get in touch with you and set up your careers directory. We would like to open a poll again. Because I know that we have prepared something in December 10. And also for those who have attended this session, you'll receive a recording of this session as well and a feedback on when or if you would have questions regarding this webinar that you might not have asked today, you can give us or send us those questions. So we'd love to know what areas we can help you the most. And so we're opening another set of poll, and I hope that you don't mind answering this poll. We have a couple of topics we have in mind, and we would like to get your ideas of which among this would be the best topic that we can run in partnership with you. Okay, so we have marketing guide in launching a career directory for your students, engaging your students on social media to increase career preparedness, effective email campaigns to increase your students' awareness of job opportunities. Partner reports and marketing best practices are also something that we could think about. And if you're interested, we have all of the above option, and we can make it happen for you. Right, so I'm seeing good responses now. I'm seeing all of the above as the most common selection.
Undoubtedly, that was going to be the most common one.
Right. Well, effective email campaigns to increase your students, marketing-based practices are also, our marketing best practices are also something that's available in there. If you can think of any topics or that interest you or probably your students, you can type it in our chat box, or and we'll get back to you if that's something that we can work out and prepare for you and your students. Because at the end of the day, what we want to highlight is to help our students get the best jumpstart for their careers. So it looks like, yeah, all of the above is the most common response.
So we do have, while these are tentative dates, which we're fairly sure would work fine, we do have these upcoming webinars on these very similar topics. Again, we're solely focused on students, but we know the right kind of engagement with universities is the way to go. So all universities that are currently partners with us and all those that would partner with us during this time, will send them these invites, part of that partnership, and help them along the way in getting the right kind of tools, the right kind of skill sets to build the right platform to our partnership and to really help our students land the right jobs. So a lot to look forward to in the next 3 months, for sure.
Agree with you on that, Ali.
Awesome. So what we'll do now is we'll open up for Q&A. anyone that places any questions in the Q&A section, please do, and we're more than willing to answer anything.
So Ali, I think some of them are still composing their questions in the Q&A. There might be some questions in the chat box, but this is a high technology product that we're offering. How much does it cost them? How much would our university partners would cost this?
Pointing out the elephant in the room. How much does it cost? I think about, should I tell a story first, or should I just get to the point and tell the price? I think I'll get to the point first and then tell the story. So it's $0. It's 0 rupees. It's 0 yen. We don't charge universities. The story behind it, the reason behind it. Well, first thing, since our platform, our entire focus, every design effort that we put into is mostly focused on the right kind of engagement students, the right kind of focus for students, we don't feel like we can charge students at all. At the same time, when it comes to universities, we feel that a lot of their funds, a lot of the revenue that goes into students' education so much, they've really got trickle-down amount once they're reaching their end of their cycle, graduating and such. And it just doesn't feel fair that we can take anything from there. It's not really going to be profitable for us to do it. So what we have learned from a lot of this engagement is employers, corporations, companies are very much in favor of paying if they can get the right kind of application. And through our platform, through a lot of things that Frimsel shared, we're able to build the right kind of engagement. We're able to provide top quality applications for our employers, and they themselves then are willing to invest into this platform. So for all our attendees over here, all our university partners, all our potential university partners and college partners, there is never going to be a charge on you this year, next year, or ever within this partnership. But there will be a lot of takeaways, like these upcoming webinars, like all these virtual career events. We're going to build very strong partnerships with you that would last for a year.
All right, thank you, Ali. I hope that gives a clear view for our university partners. I've also seen a question in the chat box. It says here, the students have to register. Do students have to register individually or through University Career Office? And to answer that question, our students can register individually. Once you have created your career directory, they can access it anytime. They'll have an option to sign up or register through the career directory that we have created for you. And I hope that answers your question. Another question is that, do you have a format for the career directory? Best way to respond to this is to click our Prospol partner, and one of our university partners can reach out to you so that we can, the university career directory we have shown you earlier are some of the examples, and most of the universities would have the same view in their career directory. Don't worry, for career setup and all, we can work with your respective career university partnerships manager so that we can tailor fit it based on your needs.
And we've also got some questions lined up in our Q&A. So by Catherine Climes, what is your validation process for the startups who participate? So what we're working towards is, one thing I would like to tell is, startups is a very ambiguous title. There could be $1 billion company that has a startup. I came from a recent startup that had about 2,500 employees. They had a $2.5 billion valuation. They were still known as startups. Of course, they're not as massive where they have 40 and like close to 100,000 employees. What we're doing is we're finding the right kind of startups which have a reasonable popularity and finding all those details. What we're ensuring is in this, if they are gonna, be panelists and such, they have to provide us a reasonable amount of details. They have to populate, get us reviews and all kind of information where students who then jump from these virtual events to their sites, to their profiles on the Prospol network, are able to fetch the right detail. So a whole in the process, we ensure that they are completely invested into our possibles mission. Another question by Sherlyn Liu. Can you please share some good practices in increasing traffic at some less known employer booths? So this did consider to us. I think it has been in discussion of what is the right practice. Some of the you could say whispers that I've heard is what we can probably do is ensure a reasonable amount of employers, maybe reduce down the amount of employers that are more available so they can pass along equally. At the same time, one example that I can give you is this startup event. Instead of including bigger names like Google and Amazon and such, this event is totally based for startups so that all, whether popular or not, all the employers that are going to be in there are basically somewhat at an equal stand. So yes, we are very much enforcing this opportunity so that next year all the booths are more equally divided with traffic.
Right, thank you, Ali, for answering that. And if that question, if you still have lingering questions, you can reach out to us. There's someone who asked, I think it's Sherlyn as well. If you decide to partner within the startup fair, what support you will need from the university side? Apart from setting up your own career directory so they can register, basically just promoting it to your students and ensuring that they will register and join the event. That's all that we will be asking because in Prospel, we will work with the startup companies. We have a dedicated team who would look after employers who would join the event. And so the university partners that we have would just have to probably share it in with your students and make sure that we have good attendance. And that's the best help that we can get from you. There are a couple of people who want to sign up for the marketing webinars that you will be having. Please take note of that once your career directory is up, all university partners will be notified for the succeeding webinars. So the upcoming webinars that we have shared earlier will be available to those who signed up as our university partners. And so we would like to again look back into how you can partner with us. Let me just share how you can co-host this event with us. Where can I sign up? So someone asked, where can I sign up for the marketing webinars that you'll be having? We'll be sending an email after this for those registrations also to sign up.
Gotcha. Again, so this is best to discuss with our with the university partnership manager that signed you up, that you can continue to have a conversation with. What I would really suggest is all our effort that's being put in place for universities, we do want partnership with it. And all this engagement is going to be through that. So head to our this link that I just posted again, become one of our partners. A university partnership manager will reach out to you to lay out with you our future plans, how we're doing it, how we can share all these details with you. And also, we're on time. We're 3 minutes up on time. So we will be mindful of everyone's busy schedule. Any questions that are left unanswered, we'll be sure to get back to you with the right details. But again, thank you everyone for joining. Just a quick detail about our support team. There's me and Frimsul. I focus on the Asia market. Frimsul is with Philippines, Australia. And along the line, you'll see Selena, Emmanuel, Michelle, Ura, Stephen, names that you probably know because they reached out to you to attend this webinar and such. A great partnership team that focuses heavily on ensuring that our universities have the right kind of focus, the right kind of tools. Also, our other members, our co-founders and CTO and such, who are more than readily available if you have their contacts. We're a great team and a lot more resources behind these 10 to 15 individuals that ensures that Prospel is on the right mission. But for now, you all have a lovely day. We'll see you around. Be sure to partner up with us and we'll all speak with you very soon.